Why hypnosis gets results when nothing else compares. But I will share with you my top 3 modalities in this video. Hypno is number 1. And then I'll share the other 2 as well. Yeah. So keep listening. That's a hook to keep you listening. I'm tricky like that. So hypnosis gets results because it's the only one that's really targeting the part of your mind where that change actually happens. Now, I want to clear something up. I talk about hypno. Hypno is what I talk about. I talk about hypnosis. I talk about hypnotherapy, right? So I'm trained as a hypnotherapist. I create hypnosis recordings. If I'm in session with a client, one-to-one, we're speaking, then it's hypnotherapy. If I'm creating a hypnosis recording, then I just call it hypno, right? And then you've got the hypnotists who are like the stage hypnotist. I wouldn't call myself a hypnotist. I'd call myself a hypnotherapist because I'm coming at it from a therapeutic angle. And a hypnotist is like the stage, cluck like a chicken and all that shit. So that's not what I do, obviously, although it would be a good party trick. And people do expect that when I tell them that I'm a hypnotherapist. So I'm Bron Martin, subconscious storyteller and hypno healer. Now, I trained as a hypnotherapist back in 2017. And since then, I have taken myself on a journey. I've also taken, like the Pied Piper of transformation, over 10,000 women through my online programs, through my hypno recordings, and in my one-to-one practice. It's been life-changing. And for women that have used my work, it's been mind-changing, body-changing, and life-changing. It's so powerful. And in this video, I'm going to share why it's so powerful, how it actually works. So if you don't know, hang around and I'll let you in on the inside secret of why hypnotherapy, hypnosis is so freaking powerful. I'm also going to share with you how your mind works, how it thinks, the inner mechanics, the 3 rules of your mind that govern your mind and what makes you tick, what makes you like how you are and how you show up in the world. So there's so much to look forward to. Yeah, so much to reveal. Okay, enough with the hooks. Let's get going. Okay. So you may think that you're living from your conscious, reasoning, logical, analytical mind, but you're not. It's just like, that's the adult in the room, but the kid's actually running the show. So you download your entire world between 0 and 7. Some people say even before 0 when you're in the womb, right? And think of it like the Matrix. It's all coming down. It's all coming down. And you are forming beliefs based on the level of experience and exposure that you have to issues, to problems, to conversations, to little fragments, little bits of data that you've and then you create meaning around. You're like, I'll put that in my pocket for later, for when I'm 30 and I'm sitting there and that guy hasn't rung me back. And I'm like, oh yeah, because my dad abandoned me, right? All the time, whenever anything happens to us, whenever we're, feeling our feelings, stuck in those feelings, when we're thinking about things, we are taking in information. We're sorting it through every level of what we've ever known to be true, every meaning we've ever grasped. And our brain will take the shortest route. Like, what do you know about this? Like a pinball, right? Like, go, like, hit on the bits that you know, and then come back and give me your opinion. It's like, I'm not safe. I'm not safe with that guy. I'm not safe dating, right? I don't know. And then it'll be like, well, tell me when the last time you felt like that was. Oh, that wasn't safe. Well, we won't be doing that then, right? Your life is run by these subconscious habits, these beliefs that are so deeply ingrained. I tell you what, when I was younger, my nana married a man around the same time that my mum married my stepfather. My stepfather's last name was Davies. My step-grandfather's last name was Davidson. In my mind, I believed that Davidson and Davies were connected, and somehow when you got married, a son went on the end of the name, like the name changed, but it was all linked. I don't know how old I was when I realized that wasn't true, but I believed that for ages. And I was just like, oh, the names change. Like when you get married and your nana gets married, the names change, right? And I bet you can think of loads of things like song lyrics, loads of things that you've believed to be true. Like that is your reality. And why would you question it? Because that's just how it is. And then you realize like, oh, it's not those words at all. And you might have realized that when you were singing karaoke and you're up on the stage, like, oh, that's not even how the song goes. I mean, we didn't have all of the lyrics. We didn't have the internet to look up the lyrics back in my day. We were doing mixtapes and trying to cut off the DJ's voice so we could get it on our mixtape, right? We didn't have the luxury of looking up lyrics on the internet. No wonder we got shit wrong. Anyway, let's talk about how your mind works. There are 3 rules that help you understand how your mind works. And hypnosis hits them all like that pinball machine. It's like, doo, 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 doo. Got them, nailed them, smashed them. That's why hypnosis works. So what are those rules? Okay, I'll tell you. All right. First rule, your brain is so literal. It's like it doesn't get sarcasm, doesn't get like jokey jokes. It doesn't get like just pretends, it's for reals all the time. So it uses the words and images in your mind to create the feeling around it, to create that's its reality, right? So the more you feed your mind the words and images, then it's going to grasp. It's going to be like, okay, yeah, it's taking them on. It's like, yeah, this is my reality. This is my reality. So you've got to be careful what you feed your mind and also what you say. Little things like, if you're talking about addiction, let's talk about, maybe you've got an addiction to sweets. It's like, I'm so addicted to sugar. I'm so addicted to sugar. And when I see, like, I open the packet, I just cannot stop, right? And it works with all addictions. And you're telling your mind, I'm addicted to this. There's no hope for me. I see the packet, I'm like, I say how you eat sweets, and it's not how I eat sweets. You're into it, right? And then that becomes part of your identity. I've got a sweet tooth. I'm a person with a sweet tooth. I'm a sugar freak. I'm a sugar fiend, whatever. I'm a lolly addict. I'm a sweet addict, right? Then it becomes our identity. Same thing with illnesses, like so many people take ownership of their illness and they're talking so much about how ill they are and my disease and, this is how I'm feeling. And, you constantly tell your mind how shit you feel and like this is really bad and my diabetes, my heart disease, my this, my that, and you're claiming it, then that's becoming part of your identity of who you are. You're talking about it. It's cementing and solidifying that. You've got to be so careful what you claim as your own, what you start accepting as part of your identity, and the words and images that you feed your mind, because it's always listening. It's always being like, okay, yep, that's our reality. That's our reality. So a little thing that you can do is you can distance yourself from things like that. And a really easy way to do that is to say, up until now, I've experienced with disease or diagnosis is you could say, I have been diagnosed with, it's not my thing. I have been diagnosed with, I don't own that. It's not my diabetes, right? So distance yourself from things that you would rather not have in your life, that you'd rather heal from. And before you come at me in the comments, because the internet is a wild, wild place. If you have type 1 diabetes, I'm not saying that you could heal yourself from that. Okay, thank you. But type 2 diabetes people, listen up, right? It's going to get people going anyway. I always start something. Second, your brain has one job, and that's to keep your ass alive. Yeah, it wants to keep you alive. So it doesn't want you to do things that it doesn't know. It doesn't like the unfamiliar. It wants you to just be safe, be in the known, be in the familiar. So that's why it's important when you want to make any meaningful change in your life that first you create it in the inside, up here in your noggin. You create it. You create that sense of familiarity around it. You create that sense of safety and security around it. You're seeding that thought. So your subconscious takes it over and it's like, yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm done with that. Let's make that change happen in our reality then. Let's make that change happen at the level of your identity then. Now you're the sort of person who was doing that, who was creating that, who was being that, who was living that, who was experiencing that. Boom. That's how transformation happens. Third, your brain is hardwired to move you away from pain and towards pleasure. Sometimes, though, it gets a bit confused, right? Short-term pain sometimes leads to long-term pleasure, but short-term pleasure sometimes leads to long-term pain. So it's always going to want to take the easiest route. Sometimes that's not the best for your growth and development. So if you're associating huge pain with moving, for instance, like moving your body in a way that feels joyful, you're just like, ugh, I don't like exercise. No, I don't want to put on my trainers and go out and it's too cold or it's too hot or it's going to rain sometime this week. I probably won't be doing that exercise then. Contrast that with, I'm so excited to move my body. I can't wait to get out there. This is so cool. I get to go on the nature trail and I get to listen to my audio book, listening to smutty romance things. And you get to a sex scene. This is me, by the way. I'm not talking about abstract. Listening to a smutty romance book, and then I'm walking down the trail and I'm passing a family, and in my ear, oh, unsightly things are happening. And I'm just like, as I'm walking along. Anyway, that's when I get to listen to my books. When I'm walking and I'm moving my body in a way that feels joyful, I'm full of the joy of life and the joy of smut. And this is great, right? But then if I was like not excited about it, I'd just be wanting to sit on the couch watching Netflix and shoving food into my face. So it's getting excited about the things that might have felt before, like short-term pain, long-term pleasure. You're creating that sense, the frisson of excitement to actually get out there and be doing the thing that leads you to that long-term pleasure. Hypno works with all three of these things. One, the words and images that we use, rich imagery and words that create that feeling of like, you know, living the reality on the inside, creating it first in your mind and then in your reality. I think Robin Sharma said that. Two, your brain has one job, and that's to keep you safe. So creating that sense of safety and familiarity in your mind. 3, moving you away from pain and towards pleasure, creating that excitement about things that are going to lead to your long-term personal development and growth in a way that nothing else can. Now that we get to that point and nothing else can, I'm going to share with you, I've done everything, and I'm going to talk about that in another video. But out of everything that I've done some hardcore shit. Out of everything that I've done, there are 3 things that stand out to me that have been the most groundbreaking in creating change in my life. First one is hypno. Hypno by far the best. Tied for second place is the next 2. One is tapping. Now, I don't do tapping by myself. It just doesn't feel natural to me to do. I've gone through stages of doing it. But I had Helen, who was one of my friends. She's so lovely. She's been a big influence in my life. And I went to her, it would have been 10 years ago. And I was on antidepressants, life was shit. Everything felt terrible. And I had a lot of trauma from my childhood that I had kind of dealt with. You know, little bits of self-help had kind of helped a little bit, but nothing to get rid of that sense of complete lack of self-love, no self-worth. Like, you know, on the outside, no one would have known because I was like, rah! But on the inside, I was like, So I went to Helen and we did tapping, and it was one of the most profound things. And I went to her saying, I am broken. There is something inherently wrong with me. And she's a wise woman, and she had this beautiful tapping thing, and it helped me to clear it. And then the other thing that has really helped me, which I've discovered probably in the last 6 or 7 years, is breath work, which is really powerful as well. And then I've done things like, well, anyway, I'm going to talk about that in another video, other things that I've done. So really powerful to understand that this modality of hypno creates change that is meaningful, creates change that, you know, you don't have to really effort, right? You just stick your headphones in. You don't even have to have headphones. You can just listen on your phone, stick your headphones in, and let the hypno do the heavy lifting for you. Let it create the change for you. So powerful and so easy to do. I'm going to show you how hypnosis changes the very core of who you are at your identity. Instead of someone who's like, oh, I'm trying not to drink anymore. The amount of times I don't drink now, not judging you if you do, but the amount of times that people have said to me, I wish I was like you and didn't drink. Well, one day I was a drinker, and if somebody had come for my Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, tequila, vodka, gin, whatever, I didn't have a drinking problem. I didn't have a drinking problem. I had a problem with drinking. My body, I hit 40, my body was just like, no. So I just stopped and my body didn't like it anymore. It never really did, to be honest. I think I had an alcohol thing, like I'm a ginger. And as soon as I'd start drinking, I'd get flush everywhere. So I'd have to like drink an hour or so before I went out to get rid of the flush before I went out. It's very unsightly. And I was always a lightweight and just didn't suit my body. Anyway, but the amount of people that have said to me, I wish that I was a non-drinker like you, but I love my wine too much, right? Now I drink alcohol-free wine and I love it just as much. Like for me on a Friday night, if I'm having my alcohol-free sparkles, my bubbly, happy, so happy. I don't ever feel like I'm missing out because the upside for me wasn't worth the downside. And now I've found something that I love just as much that doesn't have that, the effects on my body that I didn't want. But one day I was a drinker and the next day I was a non-drinker. Just whacked my microphone. The same as I used to smoke many moons ago. And then one day I smoked and the next day I was a non-smoker, apart from a little holiday in Ibiza when I was a bit wasted. But from that moment on, I was a non-smoker. And, you get that thing, the non-smokers get kind of feral about other people smoking around them. That's how I got, because I'd changed who I was at the core of my identity. Because think about this. When you're in hypnosis, when you're listening and you're embedding and encoding and programming your subconscious mind, you're not just changing what you're thinking. You're not even just changing the actions, like the habits of what you're doing. You're changing who you are at the very core of who you are. Instead of, I'm trying to be confident, you're a person who's confident. Instead of, I'm trying to be good with money, you're a person who has a really healthy relationship with money. And it goes into, like, for me, often people will say things like, well, why is your hypno better than others? And for me, it's because I get to the root of what's really going on, like what's really going on, and all the stories, all the layers that are really, it's kind of like you're, moving away all of the dirt and you're finding the gold, like what's really going on. And that's why I have so many hypnos, sometimes on the same topic as well, because what's really going on for people, they might hear something in a slightly different way, and that's when the gold is revealed. They're like, oh my God, that speaks directly to everything that's been going on for me around that. And that under hypnosis, that insight and aha moment really speaks to it. And it does help that I've got a lot of lived experience, which means that I've made so many mistakes in my life. So, interesting. It's made for an interesting life. And that really helps as well, because I understand what people are going through. It's not that I've been perfect A-type driven personality my entire life. Not that that's perfect, by the way. There are issues with that too. It's just, I get it. And I also canvas things from my audience as well, which helps me with those insights that perhaps I don't have the lived experience of that. Then I can, gather the collective wisdom and intelligence from people in my communities. And that helps make my hypnosis recordings stronger as well. Impactful, insightful, getting to the crux of what's really going on. When people think of hypnosis, they do think of those stage hypnotists making you cluck like a chicken, right? And they are in such a deep state of trance, the participants in that. And there's a level of trance that you go to. It's called somnambulism. Now, there is such a small minority of people that can go to that level of trance. And when you see those people, they're canvassing the audience. One, they're looking for people that are putting their hand up. So straight away, they're willing, putting their hand up to do that, right? So hypnosis works when you're willing. It's when you're open to seeing it differently. It's when you're really ready for change. And when I am sort of screening people to work with me one-to-one in my practice, I'm always asking them, how prepared are you to do this? Like, what number from 1 to 10? And if they're less than a 7, why would I work with you if you don't even want it? Like, why would I bother? So it's at that level of, like, you're really ready for change. And it's not that I think I can kind of change. It's when we take you to a level, it's only a light trance, because that somnambulism level where they're just like, looking really monged out when they're getting to cluck like a chicken or take their clothes off on stage, horrifying, is such a low percentage of people. We don't want you to be at that level. It's like, quite often people have said to me, it's like I was there with you and I was listening, And sometimes I wasn't quite, like I was opening my mouth and speaking, but I didn't know where that voice was coming from. And that's because the conscious mind has stepped aside and we're accessing the conscious mind. And even if you're just listening to a hypno recording, sometimes I'm listening to my own recordings because I like the sound of my own voice. And sometimes I'm thinking about my shopping list. Sometimes I'm thinking about a recipe I'm creating. That doesn't matter though, because that's the conscious mind. That's the chatty Cathy conscious mind. We're dealing with the subconscious mind. That's where the change happens. And when you are relaxed, just that light level of trance, the subconscious mind is soaking it all in. It's taking it all in, and the conscious mind has stepped aside. This is when you're doing the subconscious programming that's not only changing the way that you're thinking, not only changing what you feel inspired to do, that inspired action, but it's changing who you are in the process. It's doing that deep deprogramming and reprogramming work of your core identity. I heard this thing that Oprah said, that after a interview with her, everybody, no matter how like famous they were, would always say to her, was that okay? Was that okay? And that's the same with hypnosis. Like, people wonder, am I deep enough? Am I doing it right? Am I meant to be feeling like this? Am I normal? Tell me I'm normal. Tell me, is this going to be effective? And I always say, it's always working. No matter how you're feeling, it's always working. And if you think, I don't know if I'm hypnotized, pretend you're hypnotized. And then pretend to stop pretending. And just trust in the process that it's working. And the more you listen, the more conditioning you do. And it's so powerful. If you think about like grooves on a record, you've had this old record with these old thought loops. It's been deeply ingrained and grooved. And now you're creating a new thought record. So you've got to get that conditioning in, listening over and over again and reprogramming your mind at the very deepest level, rewiring those new neural pathways. And sometimes that record sometimes slips back into that old groove. Normal. You don't need to create any meaning around it. You can be like, that's interesting. Then you can go back into your new thought loops. Knowledge is power. And under hypnosis, it's the most liberating power to free yourself from those old, outdated thinking and thought patterns that have kept you stuck in an identity that hasn't been creating the reality that you truly want in your lived experience. If you want more insights like this about how your subconscious mind works, about how you show up in life and create the life that you truly, truly want, then make sure that you subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. You'll get a new video every Tuesday and Thursday. If you want some goodness now, then be sure to check the description, because there's something in there called the Intrusive Thought Incinerator. And this is going to save you from those times where that little shame bullet thought hits. It's just like, why did I walk out of the toilet with my skirt tucked into my knickers when I was 23? Why? How embarrassing. You don't need those thoughts in your mind. Download the Intrusive Thought Incinerator. Get rid of them once and for all. Yeah. Shame has no place in your life, no place in your mind. And the Intrusive Thought Incinerator will help you incinerate them. Understanding how hypnosis works is one thing, great thing. But you know what really creates that lasting change? It's listening, it's programming, and it's doing it on an ongoing basis. So lucky for you, I made something. Yeah, it's amazing. It's called Transform. Check it out. It's a complete hypno library that sorts you out on all levels and layers of life. It covers topics that you would just love. And you get to give it a go for only $1 for 10 days. You get to experience my hypno magic with my dulcet tone hypno voice. Completely different from this voice, I'll have you know. Yes, completely different. So go over and check it out. 10 days, $1 bargain, and you can start reprogramming your subconscious mind today. Until I see you next time, remember, it's only when you challenge your reality that you get to change your reality. And you have the power to create those changes in your subconscious mind today.